Hello. Today we're going to pick up on part 3 of the series Time Jumpers. We have this series in the library, and this particular book is called Escape from Egypt. To pick up where we left off, Chase and Ava have gone back in time to Egypt, and their job is to put this beetle back where it is to be found. If they don't, history will be changed and King Tut's tomb never will be found. But there is a bad guy following them around named Randall who is trying to stop them. In our last reading, they had lost the beetle. They had put it in a pocket of a tutu, and the laundry people had picked up it to be taken to the cleaners. So that's where we left off. They're trying to find the beetle. Chapter 11, Underground Hideout. You see that? There aren't many places for a laundry bag to hide. Still, Chase and Ava search every inch of the tent. Maybe someone collected it to do the wash, Chase suggests. They rush out of the tent and bump right into a workman pulling a wooden cart. "Oh, sorry," Ava says, stepping out of the way. Then Chase gasps. 5 bags of laundry are piled in that cart. "Wait," he calls out to the workman. "We need to get something from our bag." The man shrugs. "Hurry up." Chase and Ava tear through all 5 bags. Luckily, a tie-dyed tutu is easy to spot. Ava grabs the beetle out of the pocket, and then shoves the tutu back into the bag. She chuckles as the workman rolls his cart away. Someone will get a fun surprise when that laundry comes back. "Come on," Chase says. "I know a place we can go to keep an eye on Randall. Maybe he'll fall asleep again, and we can sneak back to the rubble pile." He leads Ava to the pyramid across from Ramses VI's tomb. It has 2 entrances. One looks right out at Randall. Ava's eyes light up. "Are we going to hide inside the pyramid?" Chase nods. "I warn you, though, we might stumble across a dead mummy or 2. She grins. "I'll race you." They tumble over each other in their rush to enter the pyramid first. They both shiver when they get inside. The air must be 30 degrees cooler. Every wall is painted with hieroglyphics and drawings of people and animals and boats and birds. No dead mummies, though, which Chase, at least, is happy about. Ava points up to the high ceiling, which is also full of artwork. She pulls out her camera and snaps a picture. "Wow." "Double wow," Chase replies. They wander around until they've seen everything in the huge room. Chase peers out the back doorway. "Randall's still there," he says. "He really is guarding that rubble pile." Ava groans. "Doesn't this guy ever need to go to the bathroom?" "The sun is starting to go down," Chase says. "Remember, the history book said this beetle has to be discovered today. We have to go right now before it's too late." "Time jumpers, on the move," Ava shouts and darts outside. Chapter 12, X marks the spot. "Wait," Chase says, pulling Ava back into the doorway of the pyramid. "Look, Randall's not alone anymore." A very tall archaeologist is shouting at Randall. "You're not being paid to stand around. We need help over in pit number 4. Now go." Randall tries to argue, but eventually follows the man away. "This is our chance," Chase whispers. Ava nods, and they dash over to the rubble pile as soon as the coast is clear. "You should put the beetle in the pile," Ava says, pushing it into Chase's hands. "We should do it together," he says. "That is what worked with King Arthur's sword." Ava nods. They each hold on to the end of a beetle and set it down in the center of the pile. Chase waits for the feeling of time slowing that he felt last time, but it doesn't come. No colorful glow surrounds the beetle like it did with the sword either. "It's not working. What did we do wrong?" Ava asks. Chase frowns. "Leaving it here must not be good enough. My book said a local water boy was the first person to spot the beetle. Maybe our job isn't done until he sees it. But how do we find a water boy?" Ava points to a group of boys carrying buckets of water towards one of the pits. "Okay, that was way easier than I thought it would be," Chase says. "But we can't just walk up and ask, 'Hey, who wants to see a cool beetle made of stone?' I mean, no one actually likes beetles." "I like them," Ava protests. "And the ancient Egyptians sure did. They painted beetles all over the inside of that pyramid we just hit in. Come on, I'll do the talking." Ava walks over and taps the last boy in line. Do any of you like beetles? Water sloshes from the boy's bucket as he points at a smaller boy up ahead. A large beetle is sitting on the boy's shoulder, and he's smiling down at it. Ava nudges Chase and whispers, I think that's our water boy. Chapter 13, Surprise in the Sand. Scree! A shrill whistle slices through the air. The sound makes Chase and Ava jump, and the small beetle flies off the boy's shoulder. The archaeologists lay down their shovels and brushes. One of them throws his head on the ground with a grunt. Chase recognizes him from the photograph in his book, Howard Carter. What's going on? Chase asks the water boy. The whistle means the search for King Tut's tomb has ended, the boy says sadly. I had hoped we would find it. Come on, the day isn't over, Ava says, tugging the boy towards the pile of rubble. Don't give up yet. Chase follows, keeping an eye out for Randall. He's bound to show up any second now that the work is over. I'm Ava, she tells the boy as they run, and this is my brother Chase. I am called Amon, the boy replies. I think you'll like this, Amon, Ava says when they reach the pile. She points at their beetle, which still rests on top of the pile. Amon quickly reaches for it. A jeweled scarab beetle. I have never seen one so beautiful. This is priceless. Amon turns and shouts, Mr. Carter, come see what I found. Mr. Carter comes running over, but from out of nowhere, Randall shows up and darts in front of him. That beetle belongs to me, Randall shouts, reaching out to grab it from Amon. Amon closes his hand over it just in time. Then in one swift move, he darts between Randall's legs and thrusts the beetle at Mr. Carter. What is all this fuss about? Mr. Carter says, holding the beetle up to inspect it. He makes a choking sound when he reads the hieroglyphics on the bottom. His whole face lights up. At that instant, a green glow surrounds the beetle and Mr. Carter. A delicious tingle runs down Chase's back, and just for 1 second, things around them move in slow motion before snapping back. He and Ava grin at each other. They did it. Randall is so angry that his face has turned purple. Mr. Carter bends down to Amon. You found this here, in this exact spot, he asks. Amon nods. Mr. Carter holds the beetle high over his head. We finally found the sign we've been searching for, he shouts. This beetle has writing on it that tells us it belonged to King Tut. We must dig here right away. Ava snaps a picture of the joyful archaeologist. Workers come running from all directions, cheering and whooping. Chase pulls Ava away from the crowd. We better get back home. Randall looks ready to explode. Is the remote buzzing? Ava asks. How should I know? Chase says. Didn't you grab it before we left my bedroom? She shakes her head. I barely had time to grab you. They stare at each other as the truth sinks in. They left the remote at home. Chapter 14, Trapped in Time. Chase and Ava dash back into the pyramid they'd hidden in earlier. Her voice shaking, Ava asks, Are we stuck here forever? The magic remote is what brought us back from King Arthur's castle. How will we get home without it? I'd miss Mom and Dad and my friends and school and my bike, and cheese doodles haven't even been invented yet. Leave it to Ava to think about snack foods at this moment. As much as Chase loves history, he doesn't want to live 100 years in the past either. Maybe if they were back in prehistoric times with dinosaurs, that would be a different story. Randall storms right past the doorway of the pyramid without spotting them. He pulls something out of his pocket. It's his remote, and the red button is flashing. Chase pulls on Ava's sleeve. Come on, this is our chance to get back home. They race after Randall, catching up right as he is about to press the button. Wait, Ava shouts at him. Randall drops the remote in surprise, then swiftly scoops it back out of the sand before Chase or Ava can reach it. Have you two finally come to your senses and decided to give me the suitcase? We don't have it with us, Chase says. Randall looks at Chase's empty hands and then at Ava's. A smile creeps across his face. It looks like that's not the only thing you don't have with you. No one can travel through time without a remote, not even time jumpers. I guess it's my turn to leave you back in time. You wouldn't, Ava shouts. He presses the button. Chapter 15, The Egyptian Wing. Chase and Ava both fling themselves at Randall's legs. They catch the bottom of his pants just as the sand beneath them falls away. Chase is afraid Randall is going to try to kick them off as they swirl around, but he doesn't seem to notice that they've latched on. Seconds later, they find themselves on a hard, shiny floor surrounded by statues and display cases covered in glass. They are definitely not back at home. Chase and Ava immediately let go of Randall's pants and scramble to hide behind the nearest statue. They hold their breath as Randall lurches to his feet. He gives a quick glance around him, then stops in front of one of the glass display cases. He scowls at something before hurrying across the large room. They quickly lose sight of him. Chase breathes a sigh of relief. They're safe, but where are they? Chase looks up at the ancient Egyptian statue they are crouching behind. Ava frowns. Are we still in Egypt? She asks. I'm not sure, Chase says. I think I've been here before. A family walks by in modern clothes, and it hits him. We're in the Egyptian wing of the Natural History Museum, Chase says. We're back in our town, and in our time. Ava whirls around. Look, Chase. She points at a black and white photograph that shows the discovery of King Tut's tomb. There's Amon and Mr. Carter, and those are the backs of our heads. Chase leans in closer. We're actually a part of history. And so is our beetle, Ava says, her face pressed up against the glass of a nearby display case. Sure enough, the green jeweled beetle is on display. Why do you think we landed in the museum? Chase asks. Randall must have been visiting when he time traveled, Ava says. That's why his remote brought him back here. I don't think he was visiting, Chase says, pointing at a door across the room marked employee exit. Randall is holding a card up to a sensor next to the door. A light on the sensor turns from red to green. He pushes on the door handle and slips out the door. Chase and Ava stare after him. Randall, the man who is trying to mess up history, works at the History Museum? Chapter 16, The Long Road Home. Chase and Ava walk down the museum's big front steps. I don't get it, Chase says, as they make their way to the sidewalk. The whole point of a museum is to save history and to teach people about it, not to ruin it. I can't believe Randall works here. I'm too tired and thirsty to think about that now, Ava says. But Chase can't stop thinking about Randall. He keeps talking. And Randall was wrong about one thing at least. We are able to time travel without the remote. Well, sort of, when my hand first grazed the beetle. You're right, she says. But I'm too tired to think about that, either. Chase tries to ignore the looks they're getting from people on the street. It's hard to blend in when you're dressed like 1920s archaeologists and covered in a layer of sand and dirt. Sand falls off them with each tired step. Mom spots them as they walk up their driveway. I thought you two were upstairs. Whose clothes are those? And why are you so dirty? Chase says. Ava stays silent. They're playing nicely together, Dad says, coming out of the garage with a half-finished sculpture under his arm. That's good enough for me. Chase and Ava smile as Mom squints at them. Fine, but go get cleaned up before lunch. They dash into the house before she could change her mind. I can't believe it's not even lunchtime yet, Ava says as they climb the stairs. I know, Chase says. Time travel is so weird. The backpack with their supplies is still on the bed. Chase digs in it and pulls out 2 granola bars. They're too hungry to wait for lunch to eat. Good thing Mom and Dad didn't come in here while we were gone, Ava says, chomping on hers. We left the suitcase wide open. She swings the lid closed and slides the suitcase under the bed. I was thinking, Chase says, if Madeline's uncle worked at the museum before he disappeared, and if Randall works there now, maybe her uncle and Randall know each other. We should ask Madeline. Ava shakes her head. Madeline didn't seem to want to talk about Randall, remember? Good point, Chase says. Then let's ask Mom and Dad to take us back to the museum tomorrow. We can ask around. I think we might be busy tomorrow, Ava says. Really? Chase asks. Why? She points below them. Don't you hear it? Oh no, he says. They peek under the bed. Sure enough. Rattle, rattle, rattle. Okay, if you liked that series, we have more books in this series, so check them out.